Bette Davis and Joan Crawford were two of the biggest movie stars of the 1930s and 40s. The rivalry between silver screen icons is the stuff of legend, a decades-long battle sparked by both professional and personal resentments, and fueled by an industry that loved nothing more than to see its women tear each other apart. They apparently hated each other after they both dated the same man. Before their careers stalled, they agreed to co-star in whatever happened to Baby Jane. The dueling divas battled on set and in the press, right up until the night of the Oscars, where Davis was the one nominated for Best Actress. But Crawford would find a way to upstage her by walking on stage to accept the Best Actress Oscar for an absent Anne Bancroft, who had surprisingly beat out Bette Davis. And not to mention, when Bette wrote her 1987 memoir, she said about Joan, "Why am I so good at playing bitches?" She wrote, "I think it's because I'm not one. Maybe that's why Miss Crawford always plays the ladies." Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made their first on-screen appearance together in 2011's Fast 5, in which the former wrestler joined the long-running franchise as Luke Hobbs. Everything seemed just fine over the years as Johnson returned for the 6th and 7th sequels. But in 2016, Dwayne posted on Instagram and publicly decried one of his male co-stars in The Fast and the Furious as an unprofessional candy ass. That ass belonged to Vin Diesel, who claimed that part of the friction between the two was his tough love, while getting the kind of performance out of Johnson that the Fast and Furious franchise demanded. The two went on to film another installment, but they did not appear together in any scenes. Johnson then revealed that he would not be returning to the franchise. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall may have been the best of friends on-screen in Sex and the City, but off-screen it was far less pleasant. There was a war of social media words waged by Cattrall as news came that the third Sex and the City film had been scrapped. The feud allegedly started in part because of money. Starting in 2008, Cattrall pushed for a bigger salary when she realized Parker was being paid more than her on the first film. Since then, the two have both sniped at each other in the press, and Parker said that Cattrall's remarks in interviews that they had never been friends left her gutted. Cattrall later responded to Parker's condolences about the death of her brother on Instagram, writing in part, "So I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." Cattrall's character, Samantha, was then reportedly written out of, and just like that, and Parker has remained largely silent since then. Johnny Carson and Joan Rivers seemed like the best of friends until their feud started. For more than 20 years, comedian Joan Rivers was one of the most popular guests on one of television's most popular shows, The Tonight Show. When Joan Rivers was offered her own talk show on Fox, she was offered a lot of money, making her the very first female late-night host. Fox also promised to hire Rivers' husband to serve as the show's producer, an unusual business arrangement, but one which helped sweeten the deal for Rivers. Her friend and mentor, Johnny Carson, was so furious that he never spoke to her or had her on The Tonight Show again. Why? Because Rivers had long been his guest host when he was on vacation, and she didn't talk to him about it in advance. As a result, the two never spoke again, and Rivers didn't appear on The Tonight Show until Jimmy Fallon took over as host in 2014. In 1984, Terms of Endearment led the Oscar race with an impressive 11 nominations. Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger starred as the mother-daughter duo dealing with a complex relationship, the story of a controlling and disappointed mother who doesn't approve of her daughter's marriage or life choices. Took home 5 Academy Awards, but the film's two leads didn't get along at all on set. Their on-set clashes became infamous, with rumors of Winger passing gas in MacLaine's direction just to irritate her. Shirley MacLaine would go on to win the Oscar for Best Actress, and in her speech, in which she clutched the statuette she beat Winger for, she said, "I deserve this." It was later confirmed in an uncomfortable interview segment with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live that Deborah Winger confirmed there might have been some truth to the rumors about her on-set behavior. Raquel Welch first met Burt Reynolds when they starred together in 1969's 100 Rifles. Reynolds was a pretty big star at that point, based largely on his role in the hit TV show Gunsmoke, but Welch had been living in the UK, so she wasn't exactly sure who he was. From the start, she didn't like him, because of unsavory comments he made while they were filming. Welch also asked Reynolds why he had never made a pass at her romantically, and Burt told her that he was certain that if he ever got into her pants, he would just find a poster of herself down there. I think he was saying that she was too full of herself for his own taste, but needless to say, this made Welch very angry, and she refused to do any scenes with Reynolds later on when they were starring in the movie Fuzz. There were also many reports that she was very difficult to work with on the set of Fuzz. Hillary Burton Morgan and Candace Cameron Bure have been in many different Hallmark movies, but their feud was not as nice as their movies. Ahead of the premiere of her first Christmas movie with Great American Family after leaving Hallmark, the Full House alum made headlines when she said that her new network would keep traditional marriage at the core. In a November 22 interview with the Wall Street Journal, she added, "My heart wants to tell stories that have more meaning and purpose and depth behind them. I knew that the people behind Great American Family were Christians and wanted to promote faith programming and good family entertainment." Bure's comments drew scorn on social media, especially from Hillary Burton Morgan, who slammed Bure as a bigot and called both her and her network disgusting. The Great American Family founder is the former Hallmark CEO Bill Abbott, who doubled down on Bure's claim that the new network will not spotlight gay relationships. In a second post, Morgan addressed Bill Abbott saying, "Now they're just openly admitting their bigotry." Abbott and Bure spoke with Variety about Great American Family and said that its primary focus at first will be Christmas and Christianity. Actor Sean Young has had a negative reputation seemingly since her career began. Her feud with James Woods would end up having a lasting effect. The conflict Young had with Woods occurred while they were filming The Boost in 1988. Woods would later sue Young in 1989, alleging that she waged a reign of terror on him and his then-fiancée that included stalking and leaving a headless iodine-soaked doll at their doorstep. Young claimed she thought the whole thing was absurd, and she didn't think anyone would believe it. Within a few years, it was the only thing she was asked about at auditions. The case ended up settling out of court, and Young would win. Not only did Woods lose the lawsuit, but he would also have to pay her legal fees, which amounted to $227,000. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and maybe even consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist, and then visit the channel to search the Recollection Road Library. As always, thank you so much for watching.